https://discord.gg/flat earth.
Welcome to 24/7 Flat Earth Discord channel. Be sure to go to VC Chi Check and 1 to get your VC verification tags to get involved in the conversation about our Earth. Be sure to bring your verifiable Earth curvature evidence, though.
Mayhem.
Earth, if anybody's in here listening. The guy that just went straight into like the appeal to creation by biblical stance, that's the wrong way to do it. Because somebody who is already not looking into that will totally discredit the person talking about it. Even though biblically you could find some logical, consistent points there, it's not a way to actually point somebody to the beginning steps of learning what is or is not on the foundation of flat Earth. And also, they're not challenged either. That stuff is not challenging them. That's what I call point for point discussion. A point for point discussion entertains the idea that somebody has good points to bring and you have good points also to bring. So it's a back and forth. It becomes a back and forth. And the person's like, well, that's what you think. And then they come back with their points. So it's never going to win or either have them think about what is being said. That's just, a lot of flat earthers that come in here have that misconception. They think that, well, let me lay down some Bible facts and see how the person feels about it. Hopefully they can see the light. They can't see the light that way because they're in darkness. The darkness of their mind is that they can't understand how to critically think. Critically thinking is the issue. That's the problem. Critically thinking is the issue. It's not the fact that they're not understanding something biblically. It's the fact that they can't understand how to critically think about the questions being asked. So that was a complete wrong way to do it. If anybody's listening right now, please don't follow that example. That's the wrong example to follow. Usually we have examples of people here in the audio stream. So you're listening to clips of people during the time that we're having people in here. But I know there's not a lot of times that people correct the people that are in here and just listen. A lot of times you might think like, no, that guy had some good points. It's good that he brought up the Bible, but it's not. It's not conducive to that person actually critically thinking about the topic, which is why I'm talking about it right now. That's for your benefit, guys. If you're actually thinking about this, if you're out there on YouTube, or whatever platform you're listening to these clips, whatever you're listening to these clips, you got to think about what's being said in here. And this here is not a debate, by the way, and it's being handled like one in some of these chats. Some of these chats handle them like, okay, well, what do you think about the sun being 400 times away and the moon being 400 times closer? Who cares? We're not talking about what people may or may not think what the sun and the moon are or how far away they are. That stuff is irrelevant. It's non sequitur. Don't be talking about something you don't know anything about either. So that stuff there is just like saying, well, they say that the earth is 70% water. How do you know that? Who's gone and investigated that? Those numbers are made up. There is a lot of water, but how do you know 70% of it is water? 70%. That means that at some point we know 100% of what the earth is. That's what that implies. If you're talking about percentages and you say the earth's 70% covered in water, or so they say, then you're only hindering yourself further in the conversation because you've already estimated that people are saying the earth's 70% water. Who cares if they said it? Don't repeat it. Don't make this false claim that they're making and then reassert it and say, well, they say the earth is 70% water. Don't even go that way. We're only examining what is or is not able to be verified. That's what you have to stick to. These arguments go sideways because we last for hour-long topics on derivative things that don't need to be discussed. As in the distance from the earth to the sun, 400 times away, the moon's 400 times closer. Like, no, we don't need to talk about that. Going into specifics about biblical matters in this discussion shouldn't be brought up until it actually goes that way if the person inquires about it. Other than that, you don't need to bring it up. If the person inquires about it and says, how does this tie in biblically, though? Then you can say, this is how it ties in biblically. But if it's not brought up, don't bring it up. Because the person's not ready to think about that yet. They can barely think about things that are physical, in the physical and natural world. How then are they going to think about something spiritual? They can't even think about things that are physical that's before them. which is the ground curving at the set rate that they say that it is. So just think about that, guys. If you're listening to me right now, think about that. If they're talking about the physical Earth curving at a set rate, how are they then going to come back and retort to you some matters about spirituality? They won't be able to grasp that concept. They can't even grasp the physical, natural world, much less look at something that you point out to them about God. Yes, it's deep spiritual truths, and in order for somebody to get onto that road, they have to have the ability to critically think about what's happening or what's being said. That's a folly, I think. It's a folly from us trying to think that other people are on our level. They're not on our level. The critical thinkers in here have been looking at topics ever since we've had this discussion. And then many people before have thought it's still today, they think it's a debate. Well, let's have a debate. Not a debate. It's a rejection of truth. Flat out. Pun intended. It's a rejection of truth. They're going to keep rejecting the truth so far as to say, if you bring up logically consistent points, they're going to bring up logically consistent points in their mind. They don't know. That's what they think. They think they're logically consistent because someone said so. So, and here you go trying to say, okay, well, what do you think about what Galileo said? Or what do you think about Alberuni, what he said? Who cares what they think about that? You're not challenging them. You're just asking them what they think. We're not here to do that. We're here to present the idea that people have been saying things. Now, the things that they say, have you verified them? That's what you want them to say. You want them to get to realize that the information that's put out there has not been verified. So that's your job, right? As someone who speaks the truth, is to point that out. Because when you don't, and you say, well, just tell me what you think. Well, that's only useful if you're trying to gauge what knowledge they have. That's not useful in a discussion where you're really getting them to engage. When they start to engage with you about what critical thinking is, that's not it. They're just telling you ideas of what they've heard from someone else. Okay? That's all good and well. They heard that their teacher told them XYZ about planets and solar systems and exoplanets and whatever. So what? Now, they don't understand how to divide what stories are and what reality is. So they're going to keep telling you about stories. At some point, you're going to have to tell them, you heard all these things that people are saying. Now, when are you going to put it to the test? Go into the field and go put it to the test. You said that the earth is this big. Have you went into the field to go verify if that what they're saying is true? Did you measure a sagittal, the hump of earth curve between point A and point B? Did you notice the drop rate over distance? Because that's what we're looking for. We're looking for drop rate over distance. If you got none of that, then really what do we have to talk about? Which is why I'm laying it to you guys like this. I know somewhere it's being recorded. And if so, just go back and reflect. Reflect on what I'm saying right now. If something speaks to you currently right now, then think about it. We've been doing this quite some time. It's time to mature to the next level, which is we should already be at the point where we're telling these guys this is not a debate. If it was, we'd be talking about what my favorite color is and yours. Then we could debate about that because perhaps some people might like what I say and some people might like what you say. But no, this is not a debate. Unless you have evidence of the earth being a globe, then please excuse yourself from the court because this court only wants evidence. And if you don't bring it forward and be able to demonstrate it and verify it, then stop talking about it. That's why a lot of people are fed up already. They're just like, look, if you got something to bring to the table, if you say the earth's a globe, stand on all 10 of your toes and you stand there and you tell me exactly how we have evidence for this. Who's done it? Drop rate over distance. Let's go. Talk about it. Now, if you have nothing and you got sticks and shadows, I'm not asking for that. Don't take me to no Eratosthenes, Alberuni, Galileo, any of those old dead guys. I don't care about those guys. Nobody's talking about drop rate over distance, and that's what we need because that is the consequence of this Earth being a geometric shape. We're going to have that sagittal. It will be there if it is a globe, an oblate spheroid. Now that people are on the right track with what I'm saying, or at least hopefully they're tracking with what I'm saying, you're able to then talk about the most essential things. What this whole conversation has been about for as long as we've been doing this. is that people are not laying it out to them that way. This is a court. There are people that are listening who are the jury. They're taking in the information. They're listening to the both sides, and they're hearing what's being presented. Now, if we don't come out with that right out the gate, we're not doing due diligence, and we're turning this into a dog and pony show. Oh, what do you think about the Earth? What do you think about Jupiter? Is that a gas giant or not? You think about it. How do you use it? Can be? Who cares? We're talking about things that can be verified. They cannot verify that. They won't be able to. It's nonsense. It is nonsense. So that's why when I come in here, I'm listening to these conversations. I'm assessing the conversations. I'm listening to people that are talking about that. Most of the moderators in here already know what's going on. They're very aware that this is not a debate. They know it's not. So they're presenting it to the people that are coming in, like the ones who think the Earth is a globe. They're presenting it to them as a, how do you think about this being what it is? However, there's some maybe innocent bystanders. I don't know if you want to call them that. People who think that they're along with flat Earth. Oh, I'm flat earther. I am flat earther. I've been there 10 years. I can't tell. Because when you step foot in this forum, it sounds like you just barely learned about it yesterday. You're coming at these questions with derivative topics. You're asking them about Coriolis. What do you think about the Bible? Or, how far is the sun? Or what about Antarctica, the ice ring? We're talking about things that have no interest in what the main points are, which is the claims on the table, which is the claims about the Earth being a globe. That's most essential right now. We've got to get to the root. We can't be asking them questions that are not sequitur to what we need them to understand. Critical thinking is the value that we have here. It's the most precious thing that we have as far as this group goes. And we hold each other accountable for that. If somebody slips up or they're going sideways, we are like, hey, wait a minute, we can't do that. We can't present that to them. We've been known for that. This group has been one of the ones that people are like, oh man, that's a pretty hard group to be in, even if you're a flat earther. No, it's not if you're a flat earther or not. It's if you're actually able to critically think about the things we're talking about. These aren't hypotheticals. This isn't, let's throw around a bunch of speculations and see who wins, right? Your speculation or mine? Mine sounds like a better speculation than your speculation. Doesn't matter. At the end of the day, are they right? Are you? Can you prove what you said? How? How can you prove it? That's critically thinking about what's being said. And those things that can be proven are used as demonstrations for other people that are listening. So when they say, yeah, the Earth can be measured, it can be measured to be a globe. Okay, prove it. Well, we got some math here. Is math also demonstrating to us that the Earth is a globe? Oh, of course it is. Okay, how? Let's go to the field and go test it out. Because that's the only way, right? Seeing it on a computer screen or a phone or any other thing on a piece of paper, it doesn't matter. How are we going to take those numbers, go out into the field, and test these numbers to be true? Who's going to do that? Are you? If you're able to do that, then go ahead. Report back to us how you did it, and then by that way, we'll be able to know what you've done to demonstrate that the Earth is curving at the set rate that it is by drop over distance, and then we would have a case for you to come into this court. Other than that, what else do you have? If there's nothing else, then stop wasting the court's time and move along. That's what it's become. Because people that come in here think that they know themselves so wise about the Earth being a globe. All they have are stories and explanations, theories, ideas, but they have no verified information of how the Earth is actually curving at the set rate that it is. And that to me is the most important part about being in here, is that we're engaging with people's minds for them to critically think and not go off on tangents on derivative topics. That is so annoying when I hear a flat earther who should be having them critically think, talk about, well, it's interesting that the sun is 400 miles away. What do you think about that? What they say about the sun being 400 miles away? Or the moon being 400 times closer, or whatever the case is. It doesn't even matter. Whatever they're saying, the story is, what do you think about that? You ask them that. It's like, for what? Why do you want to hear them repeat some story that they don't even know how to repeat completely, like the narrative is saying? Because some of these guys, they're not even repeating the narrative as you hear them. They're fumbling. They're fumbling at, if I was there when, I don't know what the creation of Jupiter, but it has to be the size of a gas giant. Like, they're off into the weeds and you're entertaining it. Why are you doing that, flat earthers? Why are you entertaining derivative? Yeah, at some levels it could be fun to you, but like, so what? If this person is the first time that you're talking to them, yeah, they at least have to engage with their critical thinking before you play with your food. Like, at least get them to do that. If you don't ever get there, everybody's just like, man, what are we talking about here? Why is this guy even talking about this guy talking about entertaining ideas of, oh, well, you need to go to an observatory and look at the planets, and then you can know how big they are. No, because the guy that was in here before on the sound clip, he didn't know anything. So, getting to the heart of the matter here is that everybody who's coming in here should be getting a dose of critical thinking. Everyone. Flat earthers, globe earthers, everybody should be getting that. How are you having the conversation? Are you looking at it properly? Are you asking them questions? Because a flat earther should never, ever, ever be on the defense. Ever. That is the wrong way. I've been saying that's the wrong way to do this. And if you're on the wrong end of the questions, if you're starting to get asked all these questions and you're put in the hot seat, you're doing it wrong, my friend. Because the burden of proof rests on those who either advocate for the claim or make the claim. It doesn't matter. They don't have to make the claim. They can advocate for it, for the position of the Earth being a globe. And that's true too. So they like to say, well, I didn't make the claim. I know you didn't make the claim. But your position is that you think that's the reality that you live in. So you're advocating for it. That's what you're saying. You're telling everybody here, yeah, I think it's a globe because, somebody said so. Scientists say so. That's the issue. You're not thinking. You're just saying words. So anyway, I got issue with that. Usually, I don't see many flat earthers anymore coming in here and just saying those things. But when I hear them on the sound clips, it rubs me some kind of way because I think about it. It's like we need to be in here doing better, guys. We need to be in here doing better, especially if you're in here and you're a veteran listening to these guys. But just hang on a second. Why are we talking about the sun and the moon being what distance they are, or why are we going into biblical matters right now if their person doesn't even know how to think? They wouldn't know how to think about spiritual things, much less physical things. That needs to be pointed out to the new people that are in here who think that's relevant. It is not relevant because the person will not engage with you on critically thinking. They're just going to tell you their idea. Well, no, I don't believe the Bible. I don't do this. I don't do that. I'm agnostic. Whatever. So on those matters, you don't go there with critical thinking. Anyways, I'd like to wrap up the rant because yeah, I don't know. It's just I listen to these clips every now and again when I pop in, but we've been doing this for a while, guys. If you have any questions, let me know.
What is your profession?
See, old friend, I brought more soldiers than you did.